Except that the fight with Tyson Fury is bigger than being undisputed.
Yeah, it is. It is because I know, when I win, I'll go back to fight for that belt anyway. That would be my goal. If they don't throw a mandatory on me, they have to. Do you know what I mean? If I can fight Tyson Fury, rematch him, because there was always going to be a rematch in there. I beat him again. I get over these two difficult hurdles because they're serious fights. I'll go straight back to try and fight for that title fight, 100%.
We know it's unlikely that the fight is going to take place in the UK. Is that fair to say?
To be honest, I'm not even interested in all this stuff no more. Where it's going to be, the percentage split, just split it down the middle. Simple as. I'm not interested in going back and forth. It's going to be Tyson Fury, WBO or not. I don't really. It is what it is. Just let's get the fight done, I think.
So what are the potential stumbling blocks that could either delay this fight from happening or the fight doesn't happen?
Nothing.
Those are the words of Anthony Joshua, and he said a lot by saying very fucking little. Like he always does. Now, all right, let's counterpunch. He admits that the Tyson Fury fight is more important than undisputed. He admitted that. But, and this is something that Eddie Hearn didn't say, because Eddie Hearn's like, fight Fury, fight Fury, fight Fury, Fury fight, Fury fight, Fury fight. Okay, that's that. Now, he said, but he knows if he beats Tyson Fury, and he got to rematch him because there's going to be a rematch clause, he's going to go back and fight for that belt anyway. 100%. 100%. Right? So, that sounds good. That sounds reasonable, because I was thinking that, I besides videotape and everything, I'm not necessarily LA Setback, but I do put out a lot or enough content for you guys. So, but a lot of times I'm just thinking about certain situations and scenarios, and I'm like, why don't Joshua just drop that one belt and come back and fight Usyk? Then while Usyk could be reigning in his own kingdom, building his profile, they could possibly build a bigger fight. Because while those two dudes are fighting, Usyk could be fighting whoever the fuck. He could be fighting Dillian White. He could be fighting Oscar Rivas. He could be fighting Dominic Breazeale. He could be fighting Deontay Wilder. He could be fighting anyone. And if he beats any of those guys that I mentioned, his profile is that much higher, and he's that much more respected in the heavyweight division, while these guys are going through their reign for the rest of the kingdoms. That's what I call the belts, the kingdoms, right? So the WBA and the IBF versus the WBC, they're on the line. They're at war right now, right? They have two major battles at stake. Meanwhile, Usyk has the WBO. He's the heavyweight champion of the world. He was the undisputed cruiserweight champion, right, of the world, right? And he's reigning, and he's doing his thing with his kingdom. That sounds great. That sounds like something that should happen, definitely. Definitely. Why not? Because Anthony Joshua, giving up that belt, the give and take, it might sound shitty, but then sometimes you have to give and take, I guess, right? Only to know you're going to come back to redeem yourself. So, this is my promise to you guys, and this is what I'm going to do. If Anthony Joshua, if he drops that belt, the WBO belt, he immediately goes on the redemption list. Why? Because until he redeems himself, other words, take account of being responsible for what he already said by going back and fighting Usyk, he will be on the redemption list. He's not on the redemption list right now. However, he will make it there. He will make it to that list if he does not fight Oleksandr Usyk, if he beats Tyson Fury. See, is there any obligation for him to fight Usyk after he beats Tyson Fury? if he beats Tyson Fury for the second time. If he can beat Tyson Fury once and then he beats him again, which is a very, very difficult task, I might say. If he can do that, is there a guarantee that he has to fight Usyk? No, there is not. Why? Because he's already given up the belt. But he will stay on the redemption list until he does make account of what he said that he was going to do 100%. I think that's only fair. Why? Because that's exactly what he said and that's exactly what he mentioned. I don't think there will be a bigger fight other than that. Okay? Now, I think that's what should happen if he feels that Tyson Fury first is bigger than Undisputed. So it's other reasons why he's going on the redemption list. Because if he drops that belt, that means Tyson Fury himself is more important than Oleksandr Usyk. And that's not, and see, honestly, we don't know that yet. We don't know where Tyson Fury is. If, publicity-wise, popularity-wise, people may want to see the fight. I guess that you could dictate that off that to say he's more important, right? Because people are going to buy the shit. However, is he a better fighter than Usyk? You see what I'm saying? Until Usyk fights Fury, that's the only way we'll know. Because Usyk, hey, who knows? Usyk might be able to beat Fury. Who knows? They both are very high Q, very experienced individuals that has a strong mentality when it comes to boxing and ring IQ and being in the trenches. Right? Okay. So that's why. So it's actually two reasons why Anthony Joshua would join that redemption list, because he would stop the Usyk fight, the standard, the mandatory opportunity, drop that belt to fight Tyson Fury for his WBC. Okay. Now, I have to say this. There is a twist. Where's the twist? Well, what if Tyson Fury, what if he goes ahead and loses that fight or vacates? People don't realize that. Because if he vacates the opportunity, this is what could happen. If he vacates, that means you've made Anthony Joshua vacate the WBO and you vacated the WBC for a fight. I think that would change Anthony Joshua's perception altogether. So again, it could become real, real tricky on what will go down. So we just have to see how everything plays out. Okay, because if Tyson Fury gives up the WBC just to fight Anthony Joshua, I think Anthony Joshua needs to think that through and understand, I want to fight for the WBC, not necessarily Tyson Fury. We already got that established. So if he drops the WBC and then Anthony Joshua's already dropped the WBO, he's going to feel like a straight ass, because Tyson Fury, what little as he know, is not bound to any belt whatsoever. Why? Because he's had them all. He's already admitted that. So this is chess. This isn't checkers. Okay? So until we know what Tyson Fury's going to do with his situation, I think Anthony Joshua should counterpunch off that situation. But anyway, that's my counterpunch on that. You guys, tell me what you think. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.